Hi! Welcome to my channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Nee. I was accepted into medical school for the 2021-2022 cycle, and I'm here to share with you my med school experiences and tips. Today, I will be reading my personal statement and breaking it down into the key components that I believe contributed to its strength as well as my acceptance into 3 medical schools. If you are unsure how to approach your personal statement, go watch my video, Med School Personal Statement, linked in the cards above right now so you can see how I applied those tips to my own personal statement here. Before I start, I just want to say that this piece is very personal to my family and I, so I have removed some portions and replaced it with generic terms like Condition X to protect my family's privacy. This is also meant to be an example and give you guys ideas, so please do be respectful of my work. All right, so I have the personal statement on my iPad here, and I'll just be reading from this. Okay, here we go. With each step, my mom's posture became weaker and weaker as the nausea and lightheadedness began to kick in. Although she had been experiencing Condition X for the past several months, this time was by far the worst. Close to fainting, my mom finally gave in to going to the emergency room. My family was forced into confronting an environment that we had spent so many years actively avoiding. Up until the incident, medicine had been largely absent from my life. Rather than the preventative frontline defense it ought to be, it had always been used as a last resort. Instead, Vietnamese home remedies were far more common due to their affordability and familiarity. Throughout my childhood, I had the preconceived notion that medicine was meant to be exclusively used for emergency situations. Medical care is for the sick, not for the unsick, as my dad said. This idea stemmed from my parents' financial concerns. When my family lived in Vietnam, our inability to afford health insurance meant that each visit to the doctor would consume a month's salary. To treat my brother's illness X, my parents had to sell their wedding bands. This worry gradually deterred my family from making crucial visits to see professionals because more often than not, our health conditions would resolve themselves. Those economic barriers expanded to include a language barrier when my family eventually immigrated to the United States. Back in 2006, interpreters who spoke Vietnamese were few and far between, with Vietnamese-speaking medical professionals being even more uncommon. Medicine remained a last resort. For my family, the ER incident acted as a wake-up call. It not only allowed my mom to control her Condition X, it also revealed a number of medical conditions that she had been living with. Unexpectedly, my mom was diagnosed with X, Y, and Z. For the first time, I recognized the importance of preventative care. Upon reflection, I had also realized that the gaps in my medical understanding had played a crucial part in worsening my mom's condition. For example, I had encouraged my mom to take aspirin to control her arthritic pain. When this happened concurrently with her condition, aspirin's interference with X became a key component in worsening my mom's condition. I felt responsible for what she had experienced. That frustration I felt being uninformed became a motivating factor that spurred my curiosity in medicine. I became determined to further explore the subject in college. During my first year at the University of Washington, I went on a medical mission trip to serve rural villages in Vietnam. I realized that the attitudes toward medicine I had growing up were prevalent amongst many other impoverished communities there. Back home, while volunteering with individuals who were housing insecure, I noticed parallels between the medical inaccessibility that my family faced and the health disparities afflicting other underserved individuals. Our experience was just a singular anecdote within a society rife with inequalities that afflict the health of the disadvantaged in subtle ways. Medicine doesn't do any good if the people who need it most are unable to utilize it. To bridge this gap, communication in a familiar language, considerations for more affordable alternative forms of treatment, and access to regular preventive medicine are all aspects to ensuring that each patient is able to receive the care that they need. Unfortunately, despite my desire to help, I don't yet understand all of the complexities that lie at the heart of healthcare. Through my experiences in coursework, I have recognized that there are many problems I can only understand and find solutions to by being on the ground and in the trenches. I know that the education that I would receive in medical school would provide me with the knowledge that I need to directly help distressed communities. The experience that I would gain on the job would help me to better identify the specific concerns that require attention. All the while, working with other students and professionals who are also cognizant of these issues would continue to expand my horizons to better assist those in need. While there are many ways to help mitigate the types of problem that I want to solve, I know that without direct exposure to medical issues and the training to deal with them, I wouldn't be able to tackle the problems that have driven me for the last half decade. For the longest time, I associated medical settings with dread. However, that mindset has since changed into one of optimism. Through expanding my training and thereby my ability to help others, I aspire to allow those who may have had similar skepticisms to also see medicine in a more positive light. I want them to realize that healthcare doesn't have to always be a drain on finances or an intimidating and unfamiliar experience, but rather that medicine is a tool which, when applied to different personal circumstances, can mitigate the hardships afflicting people of all different backgrounds. Okay, so let's break this personal statement down. And the main thing that I want to point out is the power of theme. In my case, the theme is medically underserved and vulnerable populations. This was present in my personal experiences, the experience of the individuals that I volunteer with, as well as the type of physician that I want to be. Having a theme makes your personal statement strong because even by just skimming it, the reader will be left with a clear and memorable impression since you only have a single point that you are trying to make. In my How to Write Your Personal Statement video, I emphasize the importance of seeing your story from multiple different angles. And here, in my personal statement, I started out by telling a story about my mom, symptoms that she was experiencing and how that led her into going to the emergency room. But I quickly brought it back to myself to demonstrate how that experience and those prior to it, here and here, shaped my prior personal view on medicine, and that is, it is a last resort. So giving this background, I was able to create a stronger case for why my mom's health incident was so pivotal in my passion for medicine. It not only helped to bring her other conditions under control, but also showed me the importance of preventative care. To think of how many medically underserved individuals out there who are also postponing their care is very concerning to me. Hence, my desire to work with underserved communities became strongly evident in my volunteer work, my personal experiences, and the type of physician that I want to be. I also included this section where I talked about an active role that I played in this story, which was telling my mom to take the aspirin. And I think this helped to strengthen the impact because it was something that I actively partook in, and it was just not me being on the sideline watching as my mom's condition played out. Moving on to this next section, here I talked about why I felt it was crucial for me to go to medical school. And this was the section that I later added after receiving feedback from my reviewers. When they read this, they kind of wondered, like, why not social work? And here's my answer for that. I don't yet understand all of the complexities that lie at the heart of healthcare, and I want to have the knowledge that I need to directly help distressed communities. And while social workers are amazing, I know that I will never be able to work with a patient to come up with a plan to help them manage their health condition as a social worker. So I need the medical training. As a physician, I will have the knowledge, the medical knowledge to treat, but also be able to, advocate for medically underserved communities through other means like partaking in policy making, bringing awareness to the issue, and collaborating with pre-existing organizations, or even creating my own to help. And so this paragraph demonstrates that my decision to pursue medicine is well informed, and you always want to make sure that it is not straightforward, you are able to show them why medicine specifically and or why physicians specifically. Finally, to conclude my story, I connected it back to my own personal statement and the type of impact that I want to make. So as you can see, there is a lot of reflection involved, so do take the time to do it. And that is a wrap on Exhibit PS, folks. I hope this example gave you some ideas on how to approach your personal statement, and as always, please leave any questions you have in the comment section down below. That's it for now. Best wishes, warmest regards. Until next time. Bye!